very much. A couple items to report and update on. BV Listens, our work environment survey, will be conducted on January 21st. That will be conducted with both certified and classified staff. Our high school graduation requirements are currently in the process of being reviewed and worked through. High school administration, Director Nelson, and then our committee, our board committee will be speaking to that in later meetings regarding what we would recommend for Brandon Valley High School. I would note that the month of January we place an emphasis on kindness, and we will have the tour of kindness presented by Justine Kogel this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. She will be presenting to our students district-wide on the topic of kindness, empathy, and understanding of differences. I would note that we will have an opportunity for our community, our patrons, to hear that message that we shared with kids Thursday night prior to the girls' varsity basketball game. Justine will be here with us in the community room, and anyone that would like to come in and hear that message that's been shared with our kids or will be shared with our kids would be available to do that at that time. Kindergarten screening registrations are open. Folks need to contact their respective elementary for information. Would note later in the agenda we will be approving our school board election date of June 18th, 2019. I have outlined for your review the timeline on this upcoming school board election. We have 2 seats eligible. Those are both 3-year terms. April 9th will be the earliest date to circulate a petition. May 10th will be the deadline for petitions. It is relevant to note that candidates must file a financial interest statement within 15 days with Business Manager Lundberg after filing their nominating petition. School board election will be set for June 18th, and certainly if you are interested in further details, contact the business office. Also want to provide just an update on our staffing request for the 2019-2020 school year. We anticipate having the additional staffing recommendation for you in late February. We will then advertise those positions late February, early March, and then recommendations to hire will come sometime thereafter. Also want to provide you with just a general timeline on our upcoming teacher negotiations and the wage and salary recommendations. In the month of January, the Brandon Valley School Administration, myself and Mr. Lundberg, will be meeting with the BVEA regarding language. Couple of meetings throughout January for that purpose, and then in March we will have pre-negotiation meetings with the BVA again. Mid-March, early April, our Personnel Welfare Committee and BVA will meet and negotiate for the coming school years. I would note that our tentative timeline would be a ratification of the master contract at our April 8th Board of Education meeting, and then also on April 8th you'll receive a classified wage recommendation, administrative salary recommendation, and then superintendent contract negotiation. So that I just wanted to lay out specifically for new members to the Board of Education kind of what that timeline for teacher negotiations looks like. Also, we're in the thick of the budget process, and when I say we, I mean Business Manager Lundberg. He has distributed the appropriate forms to our respective schools. That process really kicks up January through March when the forms and the documents are distributed and completed, compiled and reviewed by our central office. In March, I would note that you will receive a preliminary capital outlay budget. That will be approved by the Board of Education. The reason for that is so that we have adequate time to prepare those items, those large-scale items that need to be bid. I would note that just because it's on the preliminary capital outlay budget doesn't necessarily mean that it happens, but it does allow us the opportunity to complete those major items in a timely manner. May 27th, you will receive a preliminary budget presentation, and then as in past practice, our regularly scheduled annual meeting in July will be the public hearing, and then also potential action for our fiscal 20 budget. Also wanted to outline superintendent evaluation contract there for your review. The evaluation tool will be distributed here in February. Evaluation due. We'll discuss performance evaluation, contract negotiations, and etc. Timeline is there for your review. As previously reported, we'll have a good news presentations starting in the month of January at our second meeting. Our first one up is the middle school is going to provide an update on their one-to-one initiative. And then we will move into, for February, the high school will present on post-secondary night and then the career night that we will be hosting in conjunction with our second semester parent-teacher conferences. So a timely update from both of those folks. Just note, there is no school on January 21st for in-service. That's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And then we'll note that there is no school on February 15th or the 18th, Monday the 18th, which is President's Day. That's all I have for you this evening. I'll certainly entertain any questions you may have.
Mr. Thorson, welcome back.
Thank you for letting me back.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Frecking, anything tonight? Mr. Skibsted? Mr. Babb? What did I say I was going to bribe you guys with chocolate? Sorry. Ms. Foster, Mrs. Hofkamp, anything? Mr. Horst? Mrs. Palmer? Ms. Nelson, anything tonight? Mr. Henschel? Okay. And I don't see Mr. Marceau. That means they're all somewhere. All right, there is no board policy tonight, so that takes us to our first item under general business, which is the 2019-2020 proposed calendar. This is a presentation only and no action will be taken. Superintendent Larson, do you want to lead us through that one, please?
All right, very good. Well, first and foremost, I do want to thank all of the individuals that are involved and play a vital role in the development of our academic calendar. That includes our administrative council, our teacher liaison council, our classified councils for their feedback and time through the process. So what I've done is provided you basically a month-by-month high-level overview of the proposed 1920 calendar, and then in the end I'll provide you with just a couple of highlights that I would like to draw your attention to. So August 2019, new teacher in service Wednesday, August 14th, and then we will have our returning staff here on Thursday, August 15th, Monday, August 19th, Tuesday, August 20th, and with school beginning on Wednesday, August 21st. I would note that start date does align to your current start date. In September, there's no school scheduled for the 2nd, which is Labor Day, and then you can see our fall parent-teacher conferences are Monday, September 30th and October 1st. I would note that that was moved earlier due to staff requests. So we've been working on the moving of parent-teacher conferences earlier in semester 1 for a couple of years now. I would tell you that that has implications on high school activity contracts and those types of things, so it takes a little bit of time to get something moved that impacts so many people, but we were able to get that accomplished this year for the upcoming 1920 school year. We'll have regular days of school. The dinner schedule will be staggered and rotating. Like we did this last year, we saw some success and the flow of people improved. The flow of conferences improved with that rotating schedule. And then I would note that you see the comp day is aligned on that Friday. October 1st, as stated, we will hold our second day of parent-teacher conferences, and then no school Friday, October 4th for the comp day. And then I would note no school on Monday, October 14th, 2019. We'll hold in-service. That is in conjunction with Native American Day. That is, again, a consistent alignment to what we're doing this year, as that was previously requested through parent groups and parent feedback. November, you can see there's no school on Veterans Day, and then Thanksgiving break. We stay consistent with the Wednesday of Thanksgiving week off, no school Thursday and Friday. Our winter break begins on December 20th which is a Friday with a 2-hour early dismissal. And then there will be no school December 23rd, 2019 through Wednesday, January 1st, 2020. School resumes Thursday, January 2nd. I would note that there was some conversation about trying to get those 2 full weeks off for Christmas break. It gets really challenging when you start where we start, and if you want to end before the Memorial Day holiday, to find all the days to get those 2 extra days off. In addition to that, I received positive feedback from the Teacher Liaison Council about starting school on a short week after the Christmas break, having a couple days to get kids back in the routine, and then a weekend, and then start back full time. So that would be one item that I would note. It gets a little tight with semester test window and that for first semester with the high school, but that would be our recommendation at this time, would be school resumes Thursday, January 2nd, 2020. There is no school on Friday, January 10th. That's a split in-service day. It's important to note that that day off for teacher workshop is mandated through the negotiated agreement, so that's a requirement that we take that off in accordance to our master contract. Monday, January 20th, Martin Luther King Day. That again, scheduled to be an in-service, just like it was this year. Skipping to February 2020, no school Friday, February 14th, and Monday, February 17th. That again is aligned to our current practice of the Friday prior to President's Day being taken off for an extended break. Moving to March, that's where you'll find our parent-teacher conferences being scheduled, the 16th and 17th. The 19th is a snow day, so scheduled no school as long as we don't get the weather. And then Friday is the comp day. It's also relevant to note that that aligns to the state boys and girls basketball tournaments. April, spring break. We have a 2-hour early dismissal on Thursday, April 9th, and then no school scheduled for Friday, April 10th, or Monday, April 13th. In the month of May, you will see that our commencement ceremony will be held on Sunday, May 17th, corresponding date to this year. And then the last day of school for students will be Thursday, May 21st. Last day for teachers would be Friday, May 22nd, with Memorial Day being the 25th, I believe. So special notes, I was asked by an individual that just today, a parent called and said, when will you guys have the calendar out? And I told them what the draft calendar was and that we anticipate the calendar being approved here at our second meeting in January. We were having a little conversation. I said, if I had to say one thing about the 1920 calendar, it would be consistency. So you would note that in-service is scheduled, or the start and end dates are aligned to past years. There's no school on the Wednesday of Thanksgiving week. We have a 2-hour early dismissal prior to winter break and spring break, and also on the last day of school. In-service is scheduled for staff on Native American Day and Martin Luther King Jr. Day. There's no school on the Friday of President's Day weekend, and then additional days beyond the one snow day that we could use would be added to the end of the school year if necessary or appropriate. So with that, I would certainly field any questions or comments that you have and go from there.
We're awfully quiet tonight. Doesn't look like anyone has any questions. If something comes up in the meantime before the next board meeting, would you please contact Superintendent Larson if you have any questions, if we are anticipating approving this for our next board meeting. So thank you very much, Superintendent Larson. Next, we have consent items under general business, items number 1 through 8. I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented, please.
So moved. Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Personnel, we have items number 1 through 16. I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented, please.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 3 items there under information only. Under communication from central office, no building permits, it looks like this month. There are multiple thank you notes there to the Board of Education for your review. And that takes us to our board report section. Does anyone have a formal board report that they would like to give tonight at all?
Sure. I'll just share a little bit from our curriculum meeting we had a little bit ago. So we talked about the new state requirements for graduation, and we kind of just browsed through those and looked at Brandon Valley requiring a few more courses than what the state requires. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? That's kind of the...
It's basically the same number of credits, but some defined courses, specifically within social studies. 3 credits are required in accordance to the state. I'm sorry, I don't have the sheet in front of me. I believe it's a half a unit of government and 1 unit of U.S. history. Brandon Valley will make the requirement that a half of a unit of world history and a half unit of geography are also required. We just feel as those 2 things are extremely important for kids prior to graduation. With that being said, we would also utilize a disclaimer that allows our high school administration to waive those 2 course requirements if there's an extenuating circumstance. For example, someone transfers in from a school that didn't require those things, and they have 3 credits of social studies, but they haven't taken the geography or the world history. In an extreme circumstance, high school administration could waive those types of requirements. But we'll have a thorough presentation on that in an upcoming meeting. But yes, you are hitting it out of the ballpark.
Okay. So we also started some really early preliminary discussion on revising the homework policy for Brandon Valley School District. We've been discussing the fact that it hasn't been revised in a long time, and we feel like we could revise it in a way that it will reflect more of 2019 and best practices. And so we were discussing that and discussing ideas and what it should say, what it shouldn't say. And so we'll just continue to work on that in committee for the next month, I would say, next couple meetings for sure. And work out a policy that we feel would strengthen our district. So that was kind of the gist of the meeting. Do you have any questions about those items?
For legislation, obviously, we're in the full swing of now the new elective officials. The Education Committee has been identified for both the House and the Senate, so that's good. I would say the one subject of civics has been brought up, and having that be something that's covered in the schools. So just be rest assured that is something that is covered at Brandon Valley. There's no need to have anything changed in Brandon Valley, so if that's something that bubbles up to any of you, it is currently U.S. history. U.S. government is something that we cover at length, both in the middle school and the high school here. So.
Alternative ed, we haven't met since last month, and last month's agenda was very light. We actually meet on Wednesday. Things are going well there. Any other board committee reports? All right. Thank you very much. A couple travel reports there for your review, and it looks like that takes us to the end of our agenda. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much for coming.